I want to start today by asking you a question. Are you happy with your body shape? Are you happy with the way you look? Are you happy with the way you feel? How confident do you feel when you take your kids to the beach? What do you feel and see when you look in the mirror? Are you happy with what is looking back at you? If the answer is no, then chances are you've been feeling like this for some time, maybe even your whole life. You see, we don't become overweight overnight. But the good news is we can lose weight faster than we gain it. So why aren't you doing it? Why can't you lose the weight? Now, asking why followed by can't followed by I is normally not a very good strategy, because what it does is when you ask why, your brain fills in the gaps and you just come up with a whole long list of excuses and reasons as to why you can't do it. So what I want to do today is I want to give you a little bit more of an empowering way as to ask this question, and for you to really go through a series of steps and practices to find out why and then be able to do something about it. So the first thing I want you to do is go ahead and list your values. Few people do this exercise, and it is yet so powerful because it determines everything in your life. So find a quiet spot, get a piece of paper, sit down and really be honest with yourself. What is the most important thing in your life? Is it your family? Is it your health? Is it money? Is it career? Is it power? Is it spending time with your kids? Is it spending time in front of the television? Whatever it is, the best clues you can find will come from where do you spend your time, where do you spend your money, and what do you fill your environment with. So looking at your bank statement will always give you a very good clue as to what is really important to you. Because saying that all these things are important to you and then acting in a different way, that doesn't really make sense. So where you spend your time, what you spend your money on, and what you fill your environment with are truly your values. So if you make that list, do it in a hierarchy. So the most important thing first to the least important thing at the bottom. Now, if your health and well-being and looking after yourself physically and mentally isn't within the top 5, you can have a serious challenge to achieve your goals, particularly if your goals are fat loss. You're going to really struggle. I'd say it's not impossible to get there if you do not truly value this, because you're not going to invest the time and effort that is required to get you there. So let's talk a little bit about values and how. Let me give you two contrasts. One of my friends once told me that she will rather spend money on organic food and her training than go on a holiday or buy new clothes for herself. Now, this lady doesn't earn a lot of money. She earns a reasonably low salary, and she also lives in a house share with other people. So, that might be a little bit extreme, but for her, there's a reason behind that. Her well-being and health is at the very top of her values chain. And that is because she had a health scare a little while back, and it was aggravated by her poor lifestyle choices in the past, and she nearly lost her life. So values shifted, and now health and well-being is at the very top, and she's happier and healthier than she's ever been. In contrast to another person I know who recently decided to take up the Jenny Craig diet, even though a nutritionist advised her against it. I asked her, why did she do that? And the response was merely, well, it's easy and I don't really have to think about it. So that got me thinking, why do we try and outsource health and well-being? Why do we try and outsource fat loss to a pill or something that comes in a bottle or a box? There's certain things in life you just cannot outsource. You can't outsource your relationship with your significant other. You can't outsource your relationship with your children, your duties as a parent. And you cannot outsource your career. So how can you outsource something that is so fundamental to your life, such as your health and well-being, to a product that gets marketed on television as a miracle fat loss pill? Now you get there's all these ridiculous things on the market. It's always been there, but they just seem to be popping up everywhere. There's a new thing now where you rub some cream around your waist and then wrap yourself in some cling film or whatever wrap, and then you lose centimeters. What value can you get out of that by what value can there be with your health and mental well-being from purchasing and doing something like that? So when health and well-being isn't at the top of your values chain, you got to look for shortcuts, and those shortcuts will always lead you back to the very same place. So let me ask you this: what if I sold you a pill that I say, give this pill to your child, and what that will do is it will take away, it'll change and alter their behavior completely, their behavior patterns, and what will happen is they'll always be well behaved and they'll grow up to be this model person. Just give them this pill and then let them to it. Would you outsource the privilege as a parent to take your child on life's journey and to shape their minds into becoming a good person, becoming someone who contributes to society? Would you still be a proud parent if that pill just did all the work for you? Would you outsource that? I suspect not. Some of your parents will say, well, give me the pill, where can I buy it now? But no, on a serious note, most of you won't take that option. Why? Because it's a fundamental part of your life and you cannot outsource it. So values, go ahead, make that list, and what to do next once you've identified. If your values are misaligned, there's definitely something we can do about it. Certainly for a lot of people, just getting the awareness can sometimes be enough to make the change, but if there's a little bit more work to be done, you really have to go and seek some help on that, and we can talk about that a little bit later on. The second thing is beliefs. Now, beliefs is a very complex topic, and what I believe is the most fundamental part of our lives. Our belief systems determine everything. And for the purpose of this blog, I'm not going to go into great detail about beliefs. I've actually done a separate video and an article on that, which there'll be a link to that at the bottom of this page. So click on there and go and have a look on a little bit more of a look on beliefs. But what that essentially means is, if you believe, say for example, you believe that being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle, a healthy and active lifestyle is hard work and it's full of pain and it's for those superhuman people that are just not you won't get very far, will you? So that's an example of a limiting belief. Always write down your beliefs that relate to your goal. If you've got a fat loss goal, what do you believe? What are your beliefs that relate to that? And ask yourself the questions: do they serve me, yes or no? And if they don't serve you, you've got to do something about them. The third thing that we need to go to is write down your excuses. Now this is the final time, I hope, where you get an opportunity to have a good old whinge. Go and pour yourself a glass of wine if you want, take a piece of pen and paper and write down all the reasons why you may have failed in the past or why you just cannot succeed. It might be I don't have the time, I don't have the money, it's not my fault, I've got my family is overweight, so the genes that I've got and my DNA makes me fat. It's my ex-husband's fault, it is my children doesn't support me, my current partner doesn't support me. I've heard it all. You can go on and on and on, get them all out of your system, think of every possible thing and write it down. Close the book and leave it to one side for a little while. Go back to that list when you're in a positive state of mind. Everything in life, as you know, is state-based. When we're in a different state, we react and think differently. Go back to that list, and I want you to look at that list through different eyes. I want you to imagine that someone very dear to you has written that list. Maybe it's your mother, maybe it is your daughter, maybe it's your best friend. And imagine they've come to you and they said, look, I need help with this, I need to make a change, and these are the reasons why I cannot change. I need your help, my life depends on it, please help. What are you going to do then? How would you view that list? Would you just merely turn around and say to them, you know what, this is all too hard, all your excuses are legitimate, I advise you just to throw in the towel and give up? No, of course not. Especially not if their life depends on it. You'd go and find a way, you'd go and find the reason how to get around it. You will probably find that most of those reasons and excuses on there are just made up and they're not even real. And the key challenges that are there, there's always a way around them. There always is, and you know that, don't you? So go and find a way and go and give yourself the opportunity to overcome those challenges. And if there's something that you can't overcome, there's always something or someone out there that can help you to do that. The fourth thing I want you to have a look at is list your secondary gain. What benefits do you get from not losing weight? What benefits do you get from staying the way you are? There's always a benefit. You might say, no, there's no benefits in being overweight. Yeah, there's always a benefit. So let me give you some examples. You don't have to worry about nutrition. You don't have to take the time to exercise. You don't have to think about what you eat. And there may also be things like that go very deep. It may be that you withdraw from social situations and that you keep yourself from meeting new people because you're so self-conscious and not confident with the way you look that you actually lock yourself away in the house. It might also be, I've also heard that, I had this particular lady that I worked with that her problem was that she believed that she had a relationship with her husband wasn't going very well, and she had 2 kids, and she believed that if she lost the weight, every time she did lose weight, she started getting interest from men. And she believed that if that were to happen, she would end up having an affair and she'd destroy the family, so she was safer to stay the way she was. So if it's something that runs that deep for you, you've got to become aware of it. And once you're aware of it, you can again start doing some work around it. So awareness is key. So go write all the benefits that you personally receive from staying the way you are, and then look at them, and then you need to become okay with letting them go because they need to change for you to be able to move forward. And the fifth and final thing is a more practical solution, and that's just becoming aware of your food choices and your activity. A lot of people actually think that they live a healthy lifestyle, or they'll say, I eat well and I exercise, and still nothing is happening for me. I can't understand why I'm not shifting the weight. And that may be true, and that may just be a lack of knowledge that they eat things that they think are healthy but are really not. And that sometimes we can have a little bit of blame on marketing there, because the things that are marketed in the supermarket aren't always the best choices. But regardless of that, most people do things unconsciously, because we're always doing things on the go. We eat while watching television, we eat in the car, we think we do well, and we also so we've got selective memory. We think about all the good food choices we made in the week, and then forget about all of the snacks and all of the chocolates that we ate in the interim. So take a food diary for 1 week. So write down everything that you put in your mouth. If that's too hard, take a picture of it. You've always got a phone. Everyone's got a phone with a camera on it these days. Take a picture of everything that you eat, and you might find yourself with a very interesting collage at the end of the week. Also make notes of your activity. How much do you actually exercise or move in that particular week? And be honest. If you go out for a night out with your friends and you have 6 glasses of wine, don't think, well, that doesn't count because this is now a different, it's a one-off. It counts, so put it in there and just get an accurate account of what you're actually doing. And you may find that your perception of your so-called healthy, active lifestyle is actually very different to what you're actually doing. So all this is exercises to really gain awareness of everything that's what's going on, honing in on the problem. And once you identify 1, 2, or several problems, you can then really start to work on them one by one. So if you've got a problem that you want to fix and you need some help, I'd love to hear from you. Get in touch with me, email me at philip@innerfoxfitness.com.au. That's Philip with 1 L at innerfoxfitness.com.au, and perhaps we can start a conversation about the new you and how you can lead yourself to health, happiness and confidence. Thank you for listening.